Hello, everybody, and welcome to the NoelZone. I hope you're all doing very well indeed. Um, still feeling a bit, bleh. But yeah, we're here. Obviously, Christian will be with us any minute now. So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. The usual. Don't forget tomorrow. We do Wild Blue Yonder. We have our panel review of the episode, and the fallout continues. The spin continues. Um, look, the bottom line is this: I don't care what they say about the best drama in 5 years. This seems to be the thing that they seem to be talking about. Also, they don't understand why people are criticizing the Sir Isaac Newton character. They just don't seem to get what we're trying to say, right? If Sir Isaac Newton is a white man, you cast a white man, right? But they didn't cast the white man. They cast a guy that was half white, half Indian. Therefore, you weren't staying true to the portrayal of the character, a historical figure, by the way. That is the difference, right? You do it with the Doctor, you do it with different characters, right? The bottom line is, you are right, they are characters, but when there's an established canon, of course, and you go against that, then you've already lost the argument there. But this is the whole point, right? They did it with Netflix as well, with historical figures, changing historical figures, right? Race swapping them, or even gender swapping them, just to show how diverse you are, and it never works. It never works. These shows and these movies end up flopping, and they don't. And then they say it's racist. It's nothing got to do with racism, right? Nobody is saying that you can't have diverse shows that represent the LGBTQ plus community, right? But the problem that we have is that you're already using established franchises to do that. And you see, all of those established franchises, as I talked about, have a fan base that goes back a long time. With Doctor Who, it's 60 years, right? They are the lifeblood of this show, right? They are also, as I have come to call them, the foundation. And if you keep attacking the foundation, like we've seen on Twitter today, someone says to me today, why don't you just shut up? Are you still around? Nobody gives a, well, obviously you did if you commented. You don't have to cut, listen, bottom line is you don't have to agree with me at all. Right? It's quite funny that still to this day, I make a comment about a TV show and everybody loses their shit. You need to grow up and cop on. The bottom line is the second episode ratings have fallen again, and yet the media spin, by Doctor Who magazine and TV Zone now, or whatever they're called. TV Zone came into prominence during the Jodie Whittaker era, and they were shilling for the Whittaker era quite a lot. Now they seem to be in the game now, and they've been spinning these articles, spinning these ratings with the articles. The bottom line is, you don't compare this to Jodie Whittaker's era. You compare this to the last special that we had, the last anniversary special that we had, and that was the 50th anniversary. That's the bar right there. This was a 60th anniversary, and it had a lot of things going. It had the return in RTD, big bonus point for the return of RTD. Right? Then on top of that, you decide to bring back the most popular Doctor that wins a lot of fan polls. Who is the most popular Doctor? It's always between Tom Baker and David Tennant. So you bring back David Tennant. Bing! Right? Another advantage for Doctor Who. Then on top of that, you decide to bring back the Doctor's, the 10th Doctor's, probably everybody's favorite companion in Donna Noble. Bing! Another advantage in your favor, right? It had all of these advantages, right, going in their favor, and I can't even make 6 million in the first. And now they're talking about the consolidated figures and all of this. Get away, right? The bottom line is that this has been an utter failure, no matter how you spin this. It's been a failure. And the reason why it's a failure is because RTD just couldn't help himself. RTD couldn't keep his mouth shut. And now he is paying the price for his own stupidity. Now, people are making excuses up for him, especially for the Sir Isaac Newton. Apparently, Disney wanted that and he bowed down to them. That makes him worse because he was complaining about Disney a few years ago. So if he is bending the knee to Disney, well, then he's no better than Disney himself. Okay? It's as simple as that. The RTD doesn't come out of this smelling the fucking roses. All right? His attitude towards fans, what he did with Davros, right? All of these little references that he's making, he knows exactly what he's doing, right? He knows exactly what he's doing, and this is why I have a problem with it. Because at this stage, he's just being vindictive, and he is, and he knows what he's doing. And that's the thing about it. He knows exactly what he's doing, right? People need to just fucking realize now that this man is not on a rescue mission like some made it out it was going to be. When I brought them on this channel, they gave everybody false hope and said it was going to be a rescue mission. Rescue mission, my arse. Rescue mission, my arse. Right, a rescue mission at the expense of what? Everything that we love and know, canon, everything being destroyed. Is it worth that? Is it worth that? That's what I'd ask all you fans out there. Is it worth destroying everything we know about Doctor Who so the show survives? They've sold out. As simple as that. He is sold out because that's not, he had a different opinion. Either that or he's just a goddamn hypocrite, right? Either way, it doesn't look good for RTD, right? Now, Saturday, obviously, we've got the final special before Shooty makes an appearance. And you know what? He says he's nervous. They put out an article and they said he's nervous because he said he doesn't, he doesn't want to let people down. I can see that. Shooty doesn't want to let people down, but RTD is going to let him down. RTD is going to do what Chris Chibnall did to Jodie Whittaker. He's going to let her down, right? He's going to let him down, right? Just like Chibs let Jodie Whittaker down. Even though I believe that Jodie Whittaker wasn't the actress that you bring in if you were going to do a female Doctor. At the end of the day, the bottom line is he absolutely failed that woman in every aspect. So I just look. Saturday is going to be very telling because it is the last episode of the trilogy, and then obviously then that leads into the Christmas special, which will be coming in a couple of weeks' time. And if the ratings if the ratings go down again, nobody can deny that this show is on the slide. Because if the last episode that's going to feature obviously David Tennant's, and we'll see what happens anyway, right? But then he's going to make an appearance, right? If that can't actually beat the first episode, right? If that can't even beat the second episode, but it should be able to beat the first episode because it's the last special, right? It's going to introduce the new Doctor, right? and apparently there's cameos galore, right? If that cannot get people to get their bums in the seats, then it's game over. Forget about it. Forget about it. And all the spin in the world from all of these, Radio Times is at it again. Doctor Who magazine is at it. That TV Zone is at it. They're all at it. They're all spinning. Digital Spy. They're all spinning. They're all on board again now. They drank the woke Kool-Aid again now, and they're down with this era. Remember, this was a bloke that the media and these so-called fans, remember, the media weren't very complimentary originally, right? That David Tennant and RTD were coming back. They thought it was a step backwards for the show after Jodie Whittaker. Also, the fans that are actually praising David Tennant now, some of them were even threatening David Tennant at the time, have screenshots that actually prove it, threw them up on Twitter at the time. These people with the rainbow flags were literally at David Tennant saying disgusting, vile things about him. And the same with RTD, right? Because the diamond logo, this was before he started actually pandering full scale, right? The diamond logo came out and other stuff, and he announced the Classic Who stuff. And the fans were getting annoyed because there was nothing about, who was going to be playing Doctor. They were all begging him to cast another woman. And he was basically giving them stick as well at the same time, right? So him and David Tennant were literally getting stick. Roll on a few months later, and they're all do you know what? They're the most fickle people I've ever came across in this fandom, and I'm sorry, people like that. Look, I've always come out with the term Doctor Who's for all, right? But last week I said that's not actually the case, and I'm sticking with that. It's not. Sci-fi is a specialized niche, just like comedy is, and blah blah blah. Right? We like sci-fi. Right? Sci-fi shouldn't be for the masses, and that's where the problem lies, because you're trying to please everybody. Whereas if he just wrote a sci-fi show about a madman in a blue box, right? If it's that good enough of a sci-fi show, you might be able to convert some people, right? But this isn't fucking Vampire Diaries or fucking Buffy the Vampire Slayer or any of those fucking teeny bopper fucking shows. This is Doctor Who, right? So I always used to say it, but I was wrong. Doctor Who isn't for everybody. I'm sorry, it's not. It's not for everybody. People like sci-fi, right? People like comedy, people like thrillers, people like horrors. Lots of people like myself, we like a lot of different genres, but sci-fi is the one that I predominantly love the most. That and horror would be second. But it shouldn't. This is what the problem is with Star Wars as well. Star Trek. That's where your issue is. You're trying to make these shows for everybody, but they're not for everybody. Leave them alone. If you want to make a show for everybody, then go and make a show for everybody. That's the thing. You're already getting well-established franchises and you're doing this to them when they're not supposed to be that. You're changing them completely from what they were to some hybrid that doesn't work. And then to add on top of that, then you're hammering home a fucking message that's like a sledgehammer across the fucking face. You're being pandered to, you're being preached to. Anyway, we've got Christian here, so we'll bring him on.
Oh, there we go. Thought the other microphone was muted. Hello, everybody.
Now, can you hear me? Yeah.
Yeah, can you hear me?
What's wrong with my earphones?
Can you hear me? Testing.
Yeah. Just one. Hold on. There we go. Now I should be able to hear you properly.
Well, no, there something about my account that was linked to. I'm going through some major back end changes, and something that was linked to my account is was borked. So I'm literally I might end up having to get my own StreamYard and stuff. I'm like, I'm just like pissed. I'm there. You know how it is in the back end when things fail or you need to get a new appliance or something, or computer porks out. I'm just like, okay, this was not an expenditure I wanted for the holidays, but so be it. So everybody, welcome. Thanks. Thank you for joining us at the NoelZone, and Legend of the Traveling Tardis here. Still haven't watched it.
I keep hearing that he will be the first gay doctor. It shouldn't be about his love life, just the sci-fi. Well, again,
I thought that was 14.
But again, I'm just going to say this, right? And I don't care how this comes across, right? So listen up, you little sycophants in the fandom, right? The doctor ain't gay, right? Okay, that's not homophobic to say. It's a fucking fact. Okay, he's not gay, right? He had a granddaughter, which meant he had kids. Those kids had kids, hence the granddaughter. Okay, now if RTD, which is supposed something major is going to happen on Saturday, if RTD thinks he can change canon and thinks everything is going to be fine within the fandom, he's got another thing coming. The doctor ain't gay. The doctor ain't lesbian, right? The doctor ain't boy, right? The doctor ain't none of this, right? But the only reason why, again, that they would make the doctor all of those things is to pander to these sycophants that don't actually love the show that they claim that they love. And this is the big difference. And then people have to stop saying, you know, that they are fans. They're not fans. They're not fans. They don't. If they were fans, they wouldn't want to try change the show from what it was, right? If they were fans, they'd love it and adore it just as much as we do. But they don't. They're not happy with it. So they want these changes made to make them watch it. If you have to change the show completely from the way it was to something else to please the masses out there, and this is the problem, and this is, I'll keep saying it, it is the problem. Star Trek, Star Wars, Doctor Who, right, is not for everybody. I'm sick of people saying it is. It's not for everybody, right? It's as simple as that, right? They've got other, that's why we cater, that's why the movie industry and the TV industry is so fucking big, right? Okay? It's their job to make sure that they please everybody, right? Which they're failing to fucking do because they're using established franchises to do it. Therefore, you're alienating the fans, the people that buy the merch, the people that have spent all of their time on this. It's not just a TV show for some people, right? They go to conventions. They you know, the shows inspire them to go off and do other stuff related to the show, right? It's like you got the fanfic, you've got all of that other stuff going on, right? That's what the show inspired. It's inspired its own pop culture within the whole of pop culture. Its own little subsection, just like Star Wars, just like Star Trek. None of the, I'll say it again, they're not for everybody. And this is the biggest mistake that Disney, right now, RTD is making, right? Go back to basics. It's a sci-fi show, right? It's supposed to scare us, right? Supposed to put us at the edge of our seat. Good stories, right? You leave out the pandering fucking nonsense and you go back to basics. If you don't do that, this show dies on the altar of woke. And it's nobody's fault except the people that are in charge. And I'm absolutely sick and tired of it. Doctor Who isn't for everybody. Star Trek isn't for everybody. Star Wars isn't for everybody. Right? The bottom line is, right, you can have that's why the industry, as I said, so big. It's their job to please everybody. And they're not doing it. And that's the problem. They're not doing their job properly. And then they go on strike and moan, oh, conditions, blah, 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 blah. Do your fucking job properly and we'll feel sympathy for you, right? Because you haven't been doing your job 10, 15 fucking years, right? And all you have done when fans have told you, when the consumer have told you what you are doing wrong. Oh, you're racist. You're a bigot. you're transphobic. You're not a fan of this show. Right? That's what you get. That's what you get. That's the level of respect that they have all for you as a consumer. Right? RTD telling fans tough, telling fans to fuck off. That's the respect that he has for all you guys that grew up with his era of the show. He doesn't give two fucks. Right? Sick and tired of all of this bullshit. Right? Let's say it the way it is. Doctor Who isn't for everybody, and that's the bottom line. And if anybody has a problem with that, I don't give a flying fuck anymore. Right? It's a sci-fi show. I grew up watching it. Not every kid on my block watched Doctor Who. I was the only one because it was specialized, right? I was attracted to that. They were watching their cop dramas and all that. That's what they were into, right? I was into sci-fi, Star Trek, Star Wars. Not as much Star Wars, but I grew up with it. Star Trek, Doctor Who, Buck Rogers, right? That's what I grew up with, right? Lost in Space, right? They're the shows, right? Because in my family, my mother and father have to say, I get my taste for movies from them and TV shows from them. They were horror fans and sci-fi fans. They love art and sci-fi, and still to this day, they do. They watch their sci-fi and they watch their horror movies. Still to this day, I owe my taste in movies and music to my parents, right? But not everybody watch sci-fi. So that's where I stand on it, and that's the problem. That's why they have a problem. And this is why, as I said, I didn't think the second episode was as bad as the Star Beast, but the ratings went down. The reason why the ratings went down is because fans are fed up. They've had enough now. It's done. It's done. He burnt these bridges. He did when he started coming out and attacking the fans, and it's reflecting now. And as I said, if that third special doesn't beat the fourth special because it's introducing a new Doctor and there's cameos galore, well then this show is in the dustbin, and people will have to watch with heartbreak now for the next 2 or 3 years while it's being dragged through the mud by Disney and Bad Wolf Studios. We will have to sit back and watch that. The destruction of our show in front of our eyes. As you can tell, I have strong feelings about it. It's played a big part in my life, this show. It's hard to let go, walk away. It's not that easy for me. But it's absolutely heartbreaking watching what's happening to it now. Again, it's being dragged through the mud, slated left, right, and centre, and deservedly so, though. That's the heartbreaking thing about it. Deservedly so. Doctor Who should still be prime time viewing. No matter how you spin it, this isn't prime time. So, I don't know. The future is it gets dragged through the mud for another 2 or 3 years anyway. But after that, who knows? But it should be canned, but it won't be. And that's the sad thing, because they want this show to succeed for the spin-off. I mean, this is Rocky Foundations or fucking what? I mean, do you know what would be most embarrassing? And I'll let Christian then talk about whatever he wants, because obviously he hasn't watched Doctor Who, so he can't really comment on the episodes per se. But do you know what would be really damning? And this is what people should realize, right? Imagine someone does a spin-off that RTD commissions. The RTD does a spin-off himself. That's better than the main show and gets better ratings than Doctor Who. That's what we could be looking at. A show that does better in the ratings than Doctor Who. And that will be the final nail in the coffin. And to me, that's sad. That's sad because me personally, I believe that Doctor Who should be the highest rated, and you know it should be the spin-offs that try reach the heights of what Doctor Who is, not the other way around. But that's the way I believe it will go if this current trend continues. But Saturday is a big night. And it is a big night because there's rumors flying around of cannon destruction happening left, right, and centre. Cameos galore because of the cannon destruction. Things are going to be explained. And then obviously the introduction of Shooty as the new Doctor. So we'll see what happens. But I'll leave it there on the Doctor Who stuff unless Christian wants to add something to that. But there you go. That's just
something else we talk about.
well, there's nothing really in the new. I've looked for us for something else to talk about. Because trust me, I kind of wanted a break talking about Doctor Who, but there's nothing really except that's what's dominating. Really, is Doctor Who. So
I really just am at the point where I meant my downfall into the 60th anniversary, or at least where I feel like no, I don't have respect at this moment, is when RTD talked about Davros and wheelchairs, and I was like, I lost. I literally was sitting there going like, who thinks like that? And who on your team thinks like that? Apparently everybody thought like that. I'm just like, not me. I think I don't know if I mentioned last week, and I don't want to reiterate an old story, but it's like I had a dad in a wheelchair, rheumatoid arthritis, crippled arms and legs. Last thing we ever talked about was world domination. I can guarantee you that, RTD, that never happened. I had a best friend in school, Stephen Bush. A couple of years in science class, and I'm surprised we didn't get kicked out of school. And the only thing that I really begrudged Steven, besides the jokes, was that when he came up, every time he would try to leave, he tried to hit me with his wheelchair. That's it. And the representation that came out was this wheelchair that looked like James Bond should be going into. I'm just like, is that what we're trying to lean at right now? So I'm just getting mixed messages. And I said, I would have thought it proper is like if something should happen where, had he said nothing, everybody 100% would have thought this was pre life support Davros. And the way it was taken, it was like a lower deck version of, they shoved lower deck version of Genesis of the Daleks. That's how I felt. I'm like, okay, but the problem is I watched Genesis of the Daleks, so it's kind of like taking Titanic and putting a little lower decks in there in the middle of nowhere. I'm just like, okay, well, it didn't work for me.
It was an improvement. It was clever to a certain extent.
It had its moment, but it's just like I said, you're matching it up to a deep tragedy, a really good sci-fi / drama now that they're throwing that in there. But I mean, the drama part was like the conversation between Thor and Davros. Touch these two strands together. Those moments where I don't begrudge that people, that drama term gets thrown around out there. But yeah, first and foremost, it's a sci-fi. It's not a drama. We already saw somebody try to handle it as a drama. It didn't work. There can be drama, but it's a sci-fi. It's kind of like there's scenes in your favorite action movie that have dramatic moments because those moments try to push the story along together. But in the meantime, it is an action film. It's taking place either in a tomb or a crypt or something. And that's the first and foremost. It's an action movie. So there are going to be, tidbits of things that make it drama. But it's not drama.
Yeah.
Sci-fi. And there's a different approach to how sci-fi and drama work together. I think it's even harder for sci-fi because you have to live in a different realm.
I agree. See, that's where lies the problem. You're trying to. Sci-fi is not for the masses. It's not. Again, it's not a drama. It's not a romance thing. It's not. As it was used for the Whittaker era, it's not a feminist fucking propaganda piece. It's a sci-fi show. And as look, I'm not naive to think that there are no women out there that don't like sci-fi. right? But what I'm trying to say is it's not for the masses like they're trying to make it for. They've dumbed it down. They've dumbed it down for the masses, and I'm sorry, it's not. I don't want our show dumbed down any further for the masses. It's not for the masses. Doctor Who was doing quite fine. Okay, New Who was doing quite fine. Yeah, over the years, the ratings under Stephen Moffat kind of dipped a bit, but it was still doing better than what the show is doing now. Like it was still doing better. You know, the Moffat's big thing where everybody's criticism of Moffat is he'd start off well, the middle part be a little bit confusing, then we'd get to the end and the resolution wouldn't, well, let's just say either the resolution was a bit of a cop out or didn't satisfy a lot of people, and it was a bit more fucking fairy tale sort of thing, and that's the thing I didn't like about it. But when he gave us those individual stories like Heaven Sent, you know, and stuff like that, you just, you know, you're blown away by how good it is. You know, I'm going to actually reassess the Stephen Moffat era. To be quite honest with you, I'm gonna rewatch the whole lot and reassess the whole era because I know near the end the BBC look it was the BBC that time forcing some of the shit. I mean, Moffat resisted for a very long time. I mean, he even had feminists coming after him because when Amy Pond came along, obviously she was in the short skirts or the shorts, and the feminists were kind of gone crazy because Karen Gillan was like 20 times nicer looking than them all, and they all got jealous. So they pretended that it was like, you know, sexism from Stephen Moffat because of their own little insecurities because a Scottish girl was nicer looking than that. And that's the bottom line. This is why these feminists, no, I'll say it, it's the truth, right? This is why these feminists get their noses out of joint all the time. Because you see a good looking girl and like they think they should be, well, that's why they dress them down now, right? Make them frumpy or make them look like men now because, like, you know, they don't want to see beautiful women because they have their own insecurities. Like that's not beautiful women's fault. That's your fault. You know what I mean? Or maybe God, when he made you, he realized there was something up and dropped you down from the sky and you hit every ugly branch off the ugly tree. But that's not our fault either. Do you know what I mean? That's just the way it is. Some of us are gifted with looks and others aren't. And that's just that's just life. By the way, I'm just taking the piss. Yous are all ugly. Anyway,
I just like the fact that in the title, I know you, and it's a fun little misspelling. You wrote the legend of the traveling.
Oh, no.
So now I think Irish for you there. No,
there. Yeah, I didn't even mean
the
that.
legend of the traveling thought.
But we'll leave it like that. That's a nice little happy mistake. But no. Getting all serious though. You know, it's heartbreaking because Christian, as I said, Christian's one of those fans. You know, he's a Doctor Who fan, and the show, as I said, inspires people. He goes and does Doctor Who conventions everywhere. Goes to fan conventions as well. Sets up his stall, and you know he gets the public. You know, public will come. Oh, well, what's this show, Doctor? Because there will be some people out there, believe it or not, that have never heard of Doctor Who, and this is the great thing about what Christian does. Is like, you know, people will see his stall and then go over and may check it out and say, oh, what's this? And then Christian goes, oh, well, it's about, you know, this bloke in a police box that travels in time and space. Before you know it, then the conversation's happening and then Christian's making recommendations and that person goes home and becomes a fan. That's great. You know? And that's what the fandom is. But that's what the fandom is all about. That's what this show has inspired. And all of that, I feel, well, not the fans doing their stuff, because the fans will do their stuff no matter what happens with the show. That's the great thing about our fandom, is that fans like Christian and others out there will continue, even after this show is gone, will continue to fly the flag for Doctor Who, because that's what it means to be a fan And that's the thing. When I was growing up during the wilderness years, obviously I was a kid, but I grew up during the wilderness years, and it wasn't nice not having Doctor Who on the TV, but there was fans keeping it alive. And it's the only reason why we got the movie, and it's the only reason why we got the show back in 2005, only for those fans. And this is why it kind of annoys me that now RTD is trying to upset that side of the fandom, especially. These are the guys and the girls that kept this show going in the wilderness years and deserve a lot more respect than what they're getting from the showrunner. And I just think it's a goddamn shame. Something beautiful could have happened here. Something beautiful and amazing could have happened here. With the money that he had behind him, he had the world was his oyster, and all he had to do was bring some level of his writing back that he did in 2005, but obviously be a lot better. You know what I mean? Bigger and better, because obviously you got the budget. But what has he decided to do? He's decided to go down the same route as Chibs. We could have had something special, and he's taken that from us now. And some people believe he's trolling the fans for this 60th anniversary and he's deliberately trying. Well, why would he want to do that? That just goes to show how vindictive the man is then, if that's the case. RTD, remember, doesn't come out of this smelling of roses either way. So he's kind of tarnished his own legacy now. And so is David. So is David Tennant, in my opinion, by the way. I just want to say how disappointed I am in Tennant, especially. Listen, I always know that Tennant was progressive because he's married to a progressive woman. And fair enough. It works for them. I'm not going to knock them for doing that. But to impose your own progressiveness on other people and on your kids the way they have, and now to do it to fans and to pander the fans the way he has, I'm very disappointed in him, I have to say. And those lines referencing the doctor might be gay and all of this in the last episode. Like, he is completely sold out. He knows that this isn't Doctor Who, but yeah, he'll do it anyway because it's a paycheck. And that's the sad thing. He's not back because he wanted to save the show. He's back because it gives him the platform, because one of his kids is non-binary or something, and he feels like now he has to stand because obviously he's a dad, so he feels like he has to stand side by side with his child. So he's using Doctor Who's a platform to get his message across as support, which I kind of get, but don't use Doctor Who to do it, David. You could. There's plenty of things. Man, you're in the public eye. You could do interviews. If there's something you want to address, you've got a public voice, but don't use Doctor Who to do it. Same with RTD. You're a public voice. You're a public figure. You've got plenty of other platforms to do this on.
Well, that's the thing. I'm not trying to sound mean by this, but we know RTD, and I meant when there was an election, a couple years ago, I saw a video of David Tennant taking a stab at Orange Man. I'm just like, I kind of lost a little interest in him. Not because of David Tennant or he's a bad actor or anything of that nature. It's just like, you went there.
They were. Do you know what though? That thing about Trump though. Do you know what? That was fashionable, and it still is today. I mean, bashing him.
I mean, it was
bashing him is fashionable. I mean, Lady Gaga now is off again. Lady Gaga and someone else says that they would leave if he gets. But you said that the last time you stayed, so make up your mind.
Let's check mark everybody who said they were going to leave since.
Cher said she was going to leave. But Cher still here.
Everybody's running to Alec Baldwinia. It's always one of those. It's pure narcissism. Sorry, it is, guys. You're narcissistic. You're Hollywood. We know you're narcissistic, but my God,
it's off the charts now, isn't it?
You can't accept that people may have disagreements with you. Yeah. That guy who, makes, who has the cows out in the middle of Kansas. Or the guy who's making cheese in Wisconsin, or the guy who's hauling. They exist, and if you don't appreciate what they're doing, it's fine. I suggest just not saying anything, because what are you doing to make them happy? If they want Trump, if they want Orange Man, Let them be. I mean, you can say it, but you have a platform they don't, and that's not cool. And if you think it's right, it doesn't mean. I mean, just because you say it doesn't mean it makes you right. And that's what it seems to be. There's this mentality. There's this Hollywood mentality that the rest of the flyover country is just these ignorant people, and just like, dude, what if they stop making your food?
Yeah, it's like one
what are
side
you going to
good,
do? You're
one
going to go
side
out there
bad.
and start farming Oprah? No, you're not.
But that's what it is kind of now in society. It's like you're either on their side or you're on the bad side. It's automatically the bad side. There is no room for debate, no room for diplomacy, no room for, to come
Yeah.
to it as we do on channels here on YouTube. We don't always agree on things, but we will agree to disagree. But we're not at each other's throats. You know what I mean? We move on from it. But man, this world's just too soft, man. People are just, you just need to all get over yourselves. There's more important things happening in the world that we should be focused on rather than being at each other's throats. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, right, I will never accept you guys as fans out there, and yeah, you sycophants. I'm sorry, but that's what I'm calling you. I'll never accept them. Won't, because they're not fans. They're not. If they genuinely cared about this show, then they wouldn't be trying to destroy it and tell us. I mean, I even seen today several posts on Twitter of fans, people that we actually know, Christian, in the community, being told, oh, get away, old man. This show isn't for you anymore. You're a loser. The usual threats. I even got some stick as well. All because we have objections. Now, listen, these kids should realize something, right? I'm going to say something here that's going to startle probably people in the chat, but it's true. These kids are winning. Like, they're winning. RTD is pandering to them. They're already winning, but they're not happy with just winning. They want to make us miserable and gloat and insult and threaten us in the process, right? They can't just celebrate their little show now and enjoy it. They have to stick the knife in even further. They have to make us feel miserable because that's what keeps it. They don't care about the show. They never will. They never will. First time I saw William Hartnell. Right now, granted I saw Tom Baker first, but the first time I saw Hartnell, and I saw the very first story, Non-Earthly Child, I swear I was transfixed, and I loved Hartnell. I loved him. I really did. He reminded me of my granddad. And all of that is because he's messing with classic Who now. And
I don't think it's necessarily.
And what he does on Saturday, but Christian, just one more thing. If he does what's being rumored that he's going to do on Saturday, then everything that we know about the show, according to RTD, was a lie. And I can't go into any more than that. You'll just have to watch what happens. But there's a reason for all of these cameos. They're not just coming in for nothing. There's a reason why Mel and others are returning. And you are not going to like it, apparently. So I will leave it there because Christian wanted to get a point across. So I'll just leave it there. But Saturday is a big night. I will be live. And hopefully our hearts are not broken afterwards. But anyway, go on, Christian.
Well, again, Critical Drinker said it best. Everybody's shouting, nobody's listening. And this is where the geekdom is on every front, everywhere, across everything. And everybody's right. And right now, as it stands, wokeism, says that everything's wrong. And it's just like, great. Where were you in 1963? How would you have lived? It's the same thing when somebody tells me, we all know that slavery is bad. we all know what happened during our history time, and I'm sorry you weren't around between whenever Genghis Khan was around all the way up until the American Revolution or the British
Exactly. We're
War,
paying for
and then just
mistakes
like,
for other people. Like,
but
that's what.
the thing is that you guys live in retrospect. You have a privilege. You can sit there and tell people what you would have done when you were back there, and I'm like, yeah, good luck on that one. It's just like you wouldn't have owned it, and I'm like, oh, but you're saying this on a device made by a slave. Good job.
Here's the thing: if any of these people that preach their crap that they're preaching now were actually transported to back in those days, they wouldn't last even 2 fucking seconds. And that's the thing about it. They haven't got a clue. Listen, the human race, since we've been on this planet, has evolved. We have learned from our mistakes. We've moved on. We had 2 major world wars in the world. We moved on. The world was heading in the right direction. Society as a whole, the human race, morals, everything was heading in the right direction. And then this thing called the woke virus came along. And now we are actually going backwards now. And this is the frightening thing about it. We are going backwards as a society. We're more fractured than ever. You've got media. You've got people in powers of influence who are basically, coming out with all of this rhetoric that that it's whites against blacks and all of this other nonsense. We're gone back to those days, and it's absolutely disgusting. People need to wake up. The media have been trying to divide us now, along with governments and the people in power for decades. You need to wake up. We were heading in the right direction, right? We were becoming a more equal society. Yes, we still had work to do, as we do, right? These people, these radical left, who I actually call the right because they are the right. They are the right. They just disguise themselves as the left, but they're not the left. They actually are the right. The thing about it is what these people don't realize is they want change like that overnight. It doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen overnight. We've got to grow. We've got to evolve, and we've got to keep moving forward. We're going backwards, right? We're never going to get anywhere, right? Same with a few years ago, right? It was everybody was a feminist, right? Oh, equal rights for women, equal pay, blah 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 blah, gender pay gap, right? Then it was Black Lives Matter, right? And now it's trans people, the LGBT. Well, it's always about them anyway, and it has been for that. But you know what I mean? Now it's more focused on, you know what I mean? It's like me, 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 me. That's what I call them. Me, 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 me. Attention seeking. We were going in the right direction. All you
Amazing
guys have
Williams.
set us. All you guys have set us backwards. It's as simple as that, right? We were going in the right direction. You ought to be ashamed of yourselves, by the way, because all you have caused in this world, and it's in every country, is division, strife, right? There's people out there fighting because of all of this fucking nonsense that's taken a hold of our society. And people's moral compass is completely gone in certain situations, which I can't discuss on YouTube, but you know what I'm talking about, right? Moral compasses have gone out the window, right? Everything that we believe now is being questioned, right? And it's being told, oh no, it's wrong now. We're going to revise your history now through this lens, right? So they claim that history is always viewed through a certain lens, right? But yeah, they're trying to now rewrite history in their lens. So they're contradicting, you know what I mean? They even contradict themselves. Oh, these people are stupid. We're smarter than them
I
all.
like
We're
that.
all.
I kind of just jokingly impressed that you made Isaac Newton Asian, and I'm like, this is coming from an Asian. I said, I'm not even impressed. And I'm sorry. And just on a side note, I haven't heard about it. I just heard about it. I haven't watched it yet. But 14, you can do better. if we're going to go down that route. I'm just like, I'm nothing against the actor. I just like, no. You have all the time and space. You can do better. Not that. Not Isaac.
I mean,
it's really just, I don't know. I meant at one point I actually did some soul searching, Noel. I was just like, even Critical Drinker asks, am I just doing this wrong? Am I not, I'm doing this right? Is there something I'm missing? And it feels like it's a bum rush to alter things. The Timeless Children did nothing, no service for me as far as anything else. Again, the Doctor is the Doctor because of the choices he's made. He's not the Doctor because he's the chosen one.
Yeah.
And that is especially for me paramount in my eyes of the Doctor, especially with the 50th anniversary. And I have a question for everybody in the chat. And Noel, if you want to toss this out, because I haven't seen it, but I have this question that's nobody answered. When it comes to the first 2 episodes of the 60th anniversary, what makes this the 60th anniversary? I'll leave it at that. I'm going to be going in a minute. Sorry, I got to ditch early. But what makes these 2 episodes so far 60th anniversary? Because when I think of anniversary episodes, 5 Doctors, 2 Doctors, 3 Doctors, Time Crash, all these things, it's always a story that needs to revolve around the Doctor. That's why we have the anniversary specials, because the Doctor is the focal point, and more or less we're probably going to have multiple Doctors show up from different regenerations.
Except the focal point in these 2 has been Donna's daughter and Donna herself.
That's what I'm saying. I'm just like, why isn't the Doctor the focal point? These are episodes that are kind of like, I feel like they're lost episodes, as opposed to these are genuine 60th anniversary special. And that's nice to see that the toy maker is making a comeback. I've been screaming his name forever that the toy maker should make a comeback. Okay, great. He's going to be in The Giggle. So what makes the 60th anniversary? What stories around the Doctor make it Doctor-centric? At least with the 50th anniversary, we had the War Doctor. When we had the 5 Doctors, it was Gallifrey and Rassilon. With the 3 Doctors, it was Omega. There was something centric about these episodes, and they were focused around the Doctor having having his multiples, or something like now the 60th anniversary in Big Finish, where we have this story about degeneration, which I'm listening to some of the audios on YouTube that kind of pop up every now and then. They're cool. I'm interested. I actually got one of the episodes, which is the 10th Doctor and Missy and the Paternoster gang. And there's one scene that just drives me bizarre. I don't even know how to take it, but there is spoiler if you want to just skip 5 seconds. There is kind of a weird romance. It doesn't happen, but I'm just like, okay, that's not. It was bad enough that I saw it in dark water. I'm just like, really? We're here?
It's
I don't know. It's okay. But no, I've got to run if I can do my closings out there. I appreciate you bringing me on, brother, again. And I appreciate everybody who's in the chats. Lindsay, 99 Doctor, Shane, and I'm trying to read off everybody. Bobby, Renee, Gemstone. What else we got in there? Melon Rattler. I like that name. Don't know why, but I like it. So.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, Melon Rattler is in there. Yeah,
there you are.
Great name, isn't it?
JWC, was it you who sent me a message? A PM, I forgot. That somebody sent me a message, and they go, "The show's not the same without you, dude. You need to get back on the show." And I was like, "I'm thinking about it. I really needed this break. I really needed to take time away." And yeah, that included Doctor Who.
In fairness, right? If you just all I'd say is when you do go into these episodes, just. I know it's hard now because you've heard people talk about it, but I've tried to do the best I can. I think I've been fair with the first 2 episodes, to be quite honest. I have been critical, but I haven't been overcritical. And also I have praised certain elements of both episodes. Like I did actually enjoy the second episode better than I did the first episode, but try go in with an open mind. I mean, you will be blown away by it. You will be blown away
in there with. First of all, it was you, JWC. First of all, I've gone to this conclusion, and I think mentioned this earlier. I've gotten to the point in my life, my money, my time, my patience, and you don't get it unless there's a reason for me to be a part of it. I'm not going to spend 2
Yeah.
hours spending my money, spending my time for something I don't want to be a
sad
part of.
though. It's sad because I
So I don't
mean
mind spoiling me.
it's sad though. It's that's where he's left people like yourself in the fandom, and that's unforgivable in my opinion. But look, the future to me doesn't look bright, but I'm still hoping to be wrong. But you know, maybe it's just a fool's dream at this stage. But Christian does have to head off, so I'm gonna let Christian actually do his shout outs and all of that, and then obviously I will let you know what I have coming up, and then we will leave it there. So Christian, let everybody know what you have coming up on the legend. Oh, they're traveling Tardis.
Well, thank you, sir. Well, at the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS, again, youtube.com/the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. Give us a subscription. A lot of you are joining. A lot of people are joining up because of the 60th, so we'll thank RTD for that. But especially with the NoelZone. Yeah, go ahead and subscribe to the NoelZone as well, man. Check it out. We are having... for some reason, my team loves doing reviews. They're doing 2 reviews now. They're doing the watch party on Saturday, and then they're doing the review that night after, and then they'll have another review, which tonight there will be a second review Melanie's going to be hosting. I'm going to be taking some time off. We'll see if I go over into the 60th, or I might just skip to the Christmas episode, because I really actually am dying to see Shooty, to tell you the truth on this one. We daily, you should check us out, because we got the 25 days of Christmas going on. Every day I'm trying to put out a video. We're putting out a lot of pictures. We're putting out music and stuff just for you guys to get into the holidays with the Doctor Who TARDIS twist. So please come over to our Facebook page and our YouTube channel. Enjoy yourselves. If anything, if you're having a hard time, even in the geekdom of everything, go to our social medias, YouTube and Facebook, because we're putting out pictures of the holiday stuff. If you just want to get away but still want that Doctor Who feel, by all means, you're welcome. And of course, I'm going to speak for Noel. You're welcome on any of our social media platforms at any time. And we got to get Noel's his shooty shoes. So
no, I've changed my mind. I don't want shooty shows. No more shooty shows.
Well, give him subscription. Give us some, $1.99 a month. Help them out there, brothers. Give them out there, because independent people like us, we just trying to make it out there so we can be a part of the Hooniverse, give you our take on it, give your take on it without judgment, and we want you to be a part of the legend, as we say that we're on our side. So thank you so much for joining us. I've got to run, but guys, take care. Thank you so much. Lindsay, I'm just reading your message. It's been a good chat. Thanks for being on, Christian, and of course, Noel. Yeah, thank you guys. Thank you guys for being on the chat. We'll see you later. Take care.
See you later, Christian. Thank you for joining us. Okay, now, so tomorrow is Wednesday. So this is what's going to have to happen, right? Because I've also got Manchester United. They're at 8:15, I think. I'm going to check now. So what's going to happen is I normally start. We normally do the review panel at 8. But I'm going to have to change it to 6:30. Now, I know and I'm aware that some people will not be able to make the 6:30 mark, and some will arrive at 7. That's okay. But I will be finishing at 7:45 tomorrow night. So we start at 6:30, we finish at 7:45, and then I'm over on the Manchester United channel then for Manchester United versus Chelsea. So I've got 2 streams tomorrow. So that's what's happening, guys. I just want to give you a heads up. So I'll put the stream up tonight. So 6:30 we start at. Some of the guests will obviously be able to make the 6:30, but other guests won't arrive until about 7. But I'll send out the emails to anybody that wants to come on. Remember, if you do want to come on to the review panel, send me a DM on Twitter, And if I have your email address already, fantastic. If not, I will get the email address off you, and then we will go from there. Then on Thursday, obviously, I was supposed to do the movies on Monday, but after talking to a few people, because I've been very tired, I was told I should cancel, so I cancelled. So again, and it will be happening this time. Thursday, we will be doing Swordfish finally, and then on Friday, then we'll have our usual streams, and in between that as well. Obviously, there's lots of articles coming out for Doctor Who as well. So I may be able to throw 15, 20-minute little streams just to talk about articles and stuff like that, like we used to do back in the day. And of course, it's coming up to Christmas. I like to put up a few videos, music videos with Christmas songs for you, as I've always done every year. So I'll get a couple of them going for you guys as well. So we'll have plenty coming up here on this channel. Obviously, the Man United channels is very busy as well, because the Christmas period, the Christmas fixture list is very contested. So we got a lot. I will be also live here on Christmas Day, because obviously we will be doing and covering the Christmas special. So I will be, like as Christian said, there'll be a lot of channels out there over the Christmas that you can listen to. So if you are feeling a little bit down and stuff like that, remember there'll be plenty of us on over the Christmas period to keep you all going, and people in the chats there to keep your spirits up. Remember, guys, you know, Christmas time especially is a very tough period for a lot of people. So, you know, if you are struggling and stuff like that, don't be shy. Come into the chat, you know, get involved, you know, and people will rally around you. That's what we do here on this channel. We genuinely care about people, unlike some other channels out there. You know, we do care about people in the chat. We do value everybody in the chat as well. So if you are suffering, if you are, you know, feeling a bit down, don't be ever shy to let everybody know how you feel. We're all very upfront here and very helpful as well. And I'm pretty sure there'll be plenty of people. We've said it plenty of times before. Lee has also been on and said it plenty of times before. You know, don't be afraid to come in and talk to us. There's no problem there. We're always a friendly ear here on this channel. But for now, I will say good evening. I'm going to take now that nice little bit of a break until tomorrow's madness. So until then, guys, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, because people have been subscribing. We've jumped up to we've jumped up, and we've actually gotten 40 more subscribers. Don't ask me where they've came from, but whoever you are, welcome. First of all, thank you for subscribing to the channel. We really do appreciate it. And if there is any of you new guys there that haven't come into the chat, please come in, introduce yourself. We'd like to hear from as many new people as we possibly can. But again, I want to say thank you to everybody for the 6 years that you have been supporting me. Thank you to the new people that have recently subscribed to the channel. I hope you do like it so far. What I will say about this channel is that we, you know, every person that I bring on is upfront about their opinions, and you know, we do sometimes have some lively debate. But the best thing about this channel is we never fall out with fellow panelists. It just doesn't happen. We like to, you know, at the end of the day, what happens on stream stays on stream, is what we kind of like to say. So thank you, everybody. It's been a pleasure. I shall talk to you again all very, very soon. And until the next one, bye bye.